let's see if this thing works. Alright, I'm going to be talking about the piece Andante and let's see, Andante from the extra credit. Is the extra credit, the Caruli piece. So in this piece you have things called double stops. Double stops are when you have two notes at the same time. So if the first four notes is just a scale, just A, B, C, D, like you've had in exercise 13. Then double stops, like I said, are two notes at the same time. You should be familiar with them if you've done orchestra stuff, some strings. So I'm going to play the C and the E at the same time. So it's like a chord, but it's actually just a mini chord. And I have index and middle on top of that. So I have, before you play, go ahead and place a thumb on the A. So you have a D and an F. So your first double stop is C and E. And then your second double stop is D and F. It goes back. And then it goes down. Then your next double stop is the G sharp, which is the first fret, and an open B. And then you have a B and a D. B and D, you have a B, there's a D. But you can't play them at the same time, so you have to play the B on the third string. If you know from your theory, here's G, A, B. So there's your B, there's your D. It also tells you the little string indicator on the measure 3. Remember, I don't count the first measure since it's not full. But measure 3, it says B, second finger, and it has a 3 inside of a circle. That means on the third string. So that's how you do that. So you have your G sharp and your B, and then your B and your D. And then you slide that down, because if you look at the next line, you see a dash 1, a dash 2, and that means that you had 1 and 2 prior to that on B and D. And you're going to actually slide these down to A and C. So jump up, same thing as before, but something different. You have a scale going down, but the first scale going down was D to C, or D to A. Now this one's going D to F to C. Then now you have two notes same time, or scale going down, the fourth finger, then a C, and then it's a straight scale down. So if you go, just think from G to G sharp. And then you're going to home, which is A. Okay, so all you have to do is add, but if you do that separately, you should just do, like, I'm going to hit any bass string. I'm going to keep this bass string. So I'm getting used to playing both at the same time. Just any bass string, which is 6th string. Won't sound nice, but at least you're practicing the motion. So if you go and actually play, before you actually play the notes, you can go still do the same thing, but switch, and you don't have to necessarily play the right bottom note. So instead of going 6, 6, 6, you can do 6, 5, 6. So just try to move them. Going to 5, back to 6. So you get that motion down that they're moving. Then you can alternate it, start on 5. there. All you have to do is start on the 4 now. So that one's actually a string skip from the D to the E to the A. So you go from 4, 6, down to 5. All right. So then you have the second part, which is I call it the second part, but it has a one-sided circle. Third line, D sharp E, D sharp E. It's a little tribute to homage to that piece. But they invert that from D sharp with your pinky. Another double stop. Same thing, you have the B natural and the D double stop. Then you slide down. Now you have double stops that actually move. In this piece, you've had double stops that kind of stay there, that are doubled. In line 3, last measure, you have double stops that are moving. So you have a D and F, then you have a C and E, then you have a BD. So I know that that is C and E because of my theory. It says E on the second string, so I go C, B, C, D, E, pinky, and the C on the third string, so G, A, B, C. So those two are both on the 5th fret, the second and the third string. So you have, then we know about BD because we've been doing this in the piece, and then you slide it down. So you have 2 ACs, and then it resolves down to G sharp and B. So just go on. And then just look out for your bass. Your bass is going to be A, 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 A. So on your second AC, that's when you changed your bass. So now different bass. Then you return back into slide down. This is just like what you played earlier, but it's inverted. The other one was chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass. So chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. So the chord led that. In this particular, in line 4, the last measure, the bass leads, the chords follow. So same notes, but in the BD they want you to use a 2 and a 3 for a good reason, because it sets it up for the last chord. So do the same thing again. Remember the bass leads. Then this is different fingering. Then you're gonna slide this down to C and A, but then you have to add a D sharp. So you have the first finger on D sharp. Put it together. Right there, so and then you have rest. So on those rest on line 3 and line 5, make sure you can either put your hand here, so, or you can put your fingers on the strings, like over here. Just put a finger. So if you hit an open string, just put a finger. Stop it from ringing. If you have a finger down, all you have to do is release it. But you notice how you hear those overtones right there? If you have overtones and you're like really worried about it, then you might stop. But if you stop like that, it signals to people that you're done playing. So you just have to work on kind of use this hand a little bit. For the most part, it's I am through this entire piece. Going down. The second page is the first line is the same thing as the last line of the first page. So do not play that. That's just there for page turn. So you can actually scratch off the second page. You can choose to scratch off the second page first line, or you can choose to scratch off the first page last line, because it's the same thing. Second page starts on M-I-M-I. So it's a little funny. So you have to kind of lead with the middle finger. And then on this, focus on the downbeats. So the C's, and then the DB's, the CE's, and then the DF, EG's, and then DF's, CE. Everything's doubled if you look at that. So C's, BD's, E, D, DF, EG, except right here it's singles. Back to double. So when I'm playing that part, you could be, it's PM for the most part, together, PM, and then the G is always index. Dun, 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 dun. However, when I get to the CE, whenever I have any notes or any actions on the first string, I try to use my ring finger. That way, it's dedicated to the first string. I strengthen it a little bit more when I'm using it, and you might notice like a big gap when you go, because this was playing 5 and 3 or 5 and 2 earlier, so it was just doing this. Then if you bring this over to the first string, to me I notice that there's like, I just opened that gap by that much, and that's fine, you can exercise that, but I think really you should be practicing ring finger on that, because they're just dedicated. One thing less to think about, and one less thing to think about, and I mean it really helps strengthen this finger. So you can just do, so it's like you're sharing the amount of work. This does it, this picks up the slack, and it has it right back to this. So, and then when you get to the second line, what I call the second line, it's kind of the same thing as what we just played. So, and then these are singles. So that's actually a good exercise to do too. Just do thumb and ring. So I'm trying to hit the ring finger louder than the thumb. So again, keep this to first string, ring finger, and then you have, instead of going, this one's actually F sharp. Then you have double stops again, except it's a little easier. You have F and B, so you always have a constant open. Goes down to F natural, and then returns back to, then your CE. Okay, which is like your A minor chord, and then which is like what we just practiced in the, then repeats again. See, on that rest, I just kind of did that. My hands are still ready to play. Remember, it starts on middle. D, C, F, and A. Go back to the beginning, and it's pretty easy. So, I mean, have fun with that, and hopefully this helps.